بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف. A strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than a weak believer. Even though both are good, but one is more beloved. هي القوة في كل أمر من أمور الدين والدنيا. And strength here refers to every matter, whether it is matters of deen or dunya. قوة الإيمان والطاعة والعبادة والعلم. The Muhaddithin explained, strong in Iman, strong in obeying Allah, strong in their fervor and desire for ibadah, the ambition to learn the art, the skill of deen, ilm deen. قوة العزيمة والإرادة, and the inherent strength, internal vigor. وقوة البدن, and physically fit and healthy and strong, prepared. So that's the quality of a believer. So a believer, whether it's the worldly situations, we don't live for even tomorrow or tonight, we live for now. Every second is our last moment. إذا مات ابن آدم فقد قامت قيامته. When you die, your qiyamah, your judgment day starts. So a believer is ready for the angel of death at any given time, and is ready and prepared for the devil, the thieves, the evil environment. People want to snatch your life, want to snatch your health, crime, consequences. La ilaha illallah, person can lose their life, they can lose limbs, they can have serious injury which will impact their deen as well. So a person needs to govern their nature to be prepared for deen and dunya. So somebody may be calm, but he's overcome, so calm that people take him for a ride. He trusts everybody. Somebody is opposite, contrary, they're very short-tempered. But your short-temperedness can risk your life. For example, there's a situation as the road rage, somebody cuts you off. They drive in slow in the fast lane, you waiting, you in a rush. Now this has transpired. Do you make signs? Do you chase the person? Do you go behind him and cut him off tit for tat? But you don't know the other person in the other vehicle. Firstly, they may be a psychopath, they may be a criminal. So secondly, you risk in your life whatever vengeance, whatever point you're trying to make. Is it worth it? So a believer has a vision, they've got foresight. And this is a real life incident where we know of somebody, there was a road rage situation, they started following that person. That person took the off ramp and got to the side of the road, and there's this person who was tailing him behind came. He started firing live shots. So was it worth it? You put in your life, your family's life at risk for what? Are you the Musli of the world? You a reformer of the century now? So you need to make Islah of somebody you don't even know. You need to teach them a lesson. Who made you a professor to teach road lessons to people that don't even want to learn from you? They'll teach you a lesson or two. Sometimes you're at fault and you don't know. So you're taking out your vengeance, but you're at fault. Some countries, the taxi drivers are renowned for their bad driving skills. Now you know they're bad, you know they're renowned. Now these drivers have syndicates, they probably linked to the mafia. So is it worth what you're trying to achieve, and what do you want to achieve? So a believer always introspects and That may be your doomsday. That may be your doomsday. Maybe the doomsday for your family. Remember that you've risked your life, and the situation you're put in, you're going to have to put other people in a lot of taklif. So you put yourself in that situation. Sometimes we are to blame and we're not ready to take blame for that. It's a different scenario if it was a force majeure situation happened such, then taqdeer, Allahu alam bis sawab. But our foolishness should not get us fooled and we compromise our deen and dunya. So some people are rational, some people are very patient, some people are impatient, some people are risk takers, some people are very analytical. What type of a person are you? How do you know how to handle a situation? So we have to firstly identify as an individual, how do I react? That's your first strength or weakness. And whatever your weakness is, you need to identify that and work on that. Whatever your strengths are, identify that and work on that. So we've got a two approach, two sides to a coin, where your weakness can become your strength and your strength can become the weakness if we don't identify ourselves. And each person knows themselves better. If we're to study just real life situations and statistics of kidnap and ransom attempts where organized crime groups kidnap people, then even these people who have been kidnapped, and this is statistics, the people that die first are the bodyguards. The people that get injured are the bodyguards first. So somebody might say that they lack the skill. What was the cause of this consequences? So no, these majority are ex-military, ex-police, skilled people who are highly skilled in anti-ambush. They've got all the training that was needed. But where's the problem? They were taken by surprise. That shock, that confusion, that event that unfolded made them freeze. So a person sometimes panic, and whatever your trained responses are, it's not primary in nature. It doesn't become a secondary inherent feature in a person, but it's something that you trained. And so generally when a situation does happen, whether it was a kidnapping, whether it was a robbery, you must remember that these syndicates have they are very experienced and they've gone through detailed surveillance. So whoever their target was, besides the surveillance, they've done rehearsals, they've got years of experience of failing an attempt and know where they went wrong. So in getting a successful host, they are highly skilled. And when a person who's the so-called bodyguard, who's the so-called target, have been taught these anti-surveillance techniques, but what happens is we come into a routine. So routine kills awareness. So this thing of routine, if we get a chance, we've done a whole series called circumstantial deen, where our deen becomes a routine and we just go through the formalities. So a person in his daily routine, daily grind of doing the same work, same task every day, your senses switch off, and a person starts losing the awareness and they don't realize the risks that they get into. So eventually a person becomes blind of the environment. So is it like a college lecturer? There was a new class and he wanted to instill discipline. So routine again, this is going to work. So he said sarcastically on the first day of class, If there are any fools in the room, will they please stand up? Means I am the boss here. You're going to have to listen to me. And if you think so, you want to make me a fool, then prove yourself now. So one new student got up and he stood there. So the professor smiled and he said, "Do you consider yourself to be a fool?" You can see clearly you are a fool. The student replied, "Sir, I don't. But I hate to see you standing up there all by yourself. I hate to see you standing up there all by yourself." So this routine destroys everything. We think so, we got it under control. We'll use the same thing, same pattern, same every day. But you need to evolve, you need to change, you need to upgrade. Likewise in our ibadat as well. So that's why deen will help our dunya. Salah, khushu, qad aflah al-mu'minun, alladhina hum fi salatihim khashi'un. This dhyan, this awareness, a student brought a glass of water to Maulana Ilyas en route. He slept and the glass fell. So Maulana Ilyas took him to task and said that there is a problem with your khushu in salah. So khushu in salah will make a person disciplined outside salah. The dhyan, the awareness of Allah subhanahu kullu dhakir muti'. Every person that is remember Allah is an obedient servant. That dhikr with the dhyan and the awareness of Allah. So we having the awareness of Allah. So we can understand this. The greatest con man on earth, the greatest deceiver is shaitan. Now if shaitan can con a person and steal them of Jannatul Firdaus, Jannah, paradise, which is valuable, and make them believe and go for the valueless, then the shaitan has stole our akhirah. Then a thief who is stealing your dunya, which is valueless, is very easy. So strength in deen will give us strength in our dunya as well. So previously we discussed as well in detail technology and how it steals your time. It steals your khushu. A person becomes so engrossed. Again, look at statistics, pedestrians now, accidents, most of it is the cause of technology. So people have become completely oblivious of the environment, completely unmindful. And people are like walking zombies, really unconscious and unaware. So this heart, Allah has given us a ni'mah of life. This heart has a capacity. If it is used for good, and if we don't use it for good, it will automatically be used by default evil. So our khushu. Either we got khushu and concentration on our WhatsApp, on our Facebook, on our profile, on our statuses, on these instruments, or we've got in our ibadat, in our salah, in our tilawat, in our dhikr. So this awareness should become second nature, and then a person masters it. He's not heedless, he's not oblivious and ignorant of the environment. We don't become naive. So a believer is well equipped, well qualified, well trained, well prepared for the situation. Like a person who's driving a vehicle for many years, it becomes second nature, where a person could so-called multitask. And it's a separate topic on its own, that people cannot generally multitask. But we believe, we think, we presume that we can multitask. So we can drive, we can chat, and eat and drink at the same time. But so risk of being mutma'in. So a time when a person feels he's very safe, he's secure, he's got it under control, that's where you are at the greatest risk. So a person, routine and contentment are two destructive things. Let's say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains, أَفَأَمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ فَلَا يَأْمَنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. Do they feel secure against the planning, the plotting of Allah? Nobody can feel secure from the plan of Allah except who? The khasirun, those that are doomed to ruin, those people that are doomed to destruction. So the vengeance, the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we shouldn't be inattentive and heedless of it. So Hasan Basri rahmatullah used to say, the believer performs acts of worship and he fears Allah in anxiety. The fajir, sinner, disbeliever, he commits ma'asiyat in disobedience, but he's feeling safe from the adhab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we had to put somebody in the jungle and say, okay, spend 24 hours here, you can hear the lions roaring, you can see the serpents and the trees. Will you sleep? No. Why? Because you consider yourself in a environment which is threatening your safety. So in our everyday life, every moment, every second, with regards to our deen and our dunya, we shouldn't be content. But we should consider that every moment is a moment of risk, and a situation can come up at any given time. So we are so contented of our situation that we've heard, example, for a family member, while they were sleeping at night, the thieves came in, they removed the burglar bars. We heard the story, we sympathize with them, but we still have the same burglar bars. We go to bed the very same night peaceful, without a concern. We hear another story, a relative was asleep, the thieves came through the roof. So we know roof tiles are very insecure. You can enter the roof and enter any room of the house. So no matter how many locks you have in your door, if your roof is insecure, so they can just remove roof tiles and enter, then cut. So any ignorant jahil thief who doesn't know anything about thievery could come through your roof tiles, cut the cables of the alarm systems very silently and quietly, and enter the house and hold everybody hostage. So we've heard this incident. The point is, we are so naive, we are so heedless and unmindful of the realities that we continue life as normal. We're still in a slumber. Once we had to call a locksmith out to change the lock. So just to test him, I said, show me how do you normally get into the house. So he said, where do you want to start? I said, okay, the garage. It took him literally 30 seconds. He just took out a device and opened the lock from the garage. So 30 seconds inside the garage. There was a door there. The garage door was open. Nobody locks the garage door. So that was opened. Then he was in the yard. The kitchen door was there. So the kitchen door had a key inside. So he said, okay, this is more difficult. If there was, I thought so. I said, you know what, it must be more difficult now. You've got the key. He said, no, basically, if the key wasn't here, it would have been more difficult, because then he took out a bunch of keys and said, now I'll have to open each one, go through different batches and match it. I said, how long it'll take you? He said, about a minute, maximum 2 minutes. And he said, with the key inside, maybe about 15 seconds. I said, show me. So he just took a plier, adjusted it so it's in the central position, put a paper under, dropped it, and opened the door. So from outside, through 3, garage door, another door, and your kitchen door, it took him literally, if he was in a rush, 1 minute 60 seconds, and he could have done it silently. Then I said, okay, what if you had to enter from the front door? So he said that was more easier. And he took out another gadget, and the entire lock that was there, where you normally put the key in, he pulled it out completely. It just came out, and the door was open. So this is a normal skill which a person can learn. Obviously a thief, that is his job. And so easily people can enter us, and we in a slumber, we completely oblivious and ghafil. And then sometimes people who want to do training do this fancy advices, fancy training, 10, 15 years of different skills. Somebody is going to hit you, then you block it like this. So if we look at it, where any violent crime, anybody comes in, they're not going to come in and they're going to stand and make their postures and they're going to start fighting with you. Now they're going to give you a kick exactly how you learned they're going to give you a kick. You're going to block it with your wrist. Now a strong male and a weak female, firstly he won't give you a kick. Firstly, actually, he'll come by surprise. Secondly, he's not going to kick you, because that's not what he's there to do. Thirdly, let's say we go by the scenario, he's going to kick you. You've been taught of a skill of block it with your hands and your wrists and this, but it's gonna break your knuckles, break your wrists. You're gonna damage your fingers. You haven't learned the skill of blocking a force of a kick. So we learning techniques and methodologies which probably in a person's situation in their life, it's never ever going to happen illa mashallah. So this is the typical scenario where people go into this defense techniques and life-saving techniques, but you might never ever see that situation, violence, the everyday violence on the street. It's very explosive. It's spontaneous. People come and they've studied your routines, they've studied your patterns, etc. So we need to be, as the people of Iman, more vigilant, more aware, and make sure that we be proactive and prepare for all of this. The amal for today is إن مثل العلماء في الأرض كمثل النجوم. Ulama on earth are like stars يهتدى بها في ظلمات البر والبحر. That people are guided, whether it is in the ocean or in the lands, from all darknesses. How you look at the stars for guidance. They are stars, and on earth and on land they will guide you. فإذا انطمست النجوم أوشك أن تضل الهداة. But when there's no light in the stars, then the guides go astray. So we need to go spend time with the ulama haq, identify, like how we do research when we want to do anything. We want to build, find the best contractor. We want for remedies, go to the best doctor in Hakim. For akhirat also, we need to find the best, most muttaqi, Allah fearing ulama. May Allah give us tawfiq, making amal wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.